How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and in today's video I'm going to be transitioning from doing traditional body work on my Corvette project to now doing paint work and trying to get this car looking nice and as nice as I possibly can make it. So as some of you may know, in all the previous videos I've done a lot of body work on the front bumper because that was the most damaged component, the hood, and various parts of the car as well. So now it's time to try and get those all one uniform color, including in the coming videos the yellow hood sitting over there. I don't want a Ronald McDonald themed Corvette forever. So let's go ahead and jump right in the video, and I'll show you guys what I'll be painting in this video in particular. So for those that have been following the channel, in the previous few videos, one of the focus areas of my rebuild project was fixing up the two headlights. The driver's side one was completely damaged, so I had to buy a complete new one off eBay, restored it because it was really rusty, and it actually came with a torch red cover, or headlight lid. This one was completely missing, so I had to order a bare fiberglass lid off of eBay, I think it was. And so today I'll be painting, this will be my first kind of test piece to try and paint the same torch red color. So I gotta disassemble this headlight real quick, get the cover off, and then start prepping it for paint. So before I get started on all the prep work and tearing this thing down, I just want to show you the materials I'll be working with today. So I found this company called ERA Paints. They were actually on Amazon, and then they found their website as well. And I'm in by no way, shape, or form sponsored by them. I'm just simply, I purchased these and I'm trying them out and seeing how well it works. So their company offers color match spray paint in an aerosol can. So you give them the paint code to your car. In this case it's torch red from Chevrolet, and it's WA9075, and they'll mix that paint color and put it in a base coat aerosol can. And then they also sell a compatible primer, your base coat obviously, and then they sell a one-stage clear, but through my research I've found that two-stage or 2K high gloss clear coat is a lot more professional and better looking of a clear coat finish. So these are the products that I'll be using today to try and color match this lid to that lid. And caveat, and I know out there's people that are going to say it's never going to match. Yes, I know this is a lid from another car, and then my bumper's from my car. The car is 20 years old, it's seen sun and fading, but hey, it's going to look better than just being gray or whatever color it is now, and we'll do our best to get it to match and make it look good. And that's the other quick disclaimer I just want to throw at the beginning of this video is I'm in by no way, shape, or form an expert when it comes to either bodywork, although I've gotten pretty handy at it after practicing and doing it a little bit on the car, but I'm also by no means an expert in painting cars especially. So I've been watching a ton of YouTube videos on all the different prep work, the materials, the application style, process, and everything, but don't take it from me for expert advice. I'm simply sharing my experience and sharing the learning process as I rebuild my Corvette project. So there's plenty of other videos out there. In particular, I watched a lot from a guy called, his channel's called Paint Society. He has a lot of videos on painting car parts and cars with just rattle cans because I didn't want to invest in a whole compressor and spray gun system. So take it from me, I'm just sharing my experience, but if you want a true, a lot more experienced person's advice on this, go watch those videos. I'm just simply sharing my experience and journey as I rebuild and try and make my car look better. Now I was going to do this as a completely separate video, but I decided just now I'm just going to lop this into the same video. So I'm also going to be completely repainting the front bumper on the car. So this is the piece that I spent a lot of time in the past few videos doing body work on. So now it's time to apply the paint to make it all nice one color and hopefully make it look good again. So because I'm going to be doing the same process for both of these parts, spraying red or primer, base coat, clear coat, I'm just going to do them at the exact same time and in the same video, and then the next video will be me blending all the other spots on the car. So first order of business for this is I had to touch up a few small areas with some more body repair material, so I'm waiting for that to cure, and then I'll sand that. And then I also got to get this emblem off, so I bought kind of a non-marring scraper from Harbor Freight. I'm going to do that, pop this emblem off, try and save it. If not, I'll have to buy a new one. And then first step of the process is just do a quick sand with a very light grit sandpaper to do a final prep and then start cleaning these things. just stab myself a little bit. Alright, so we got her off. Backside's a little messy with some of the old adhesive, but either try and clean this one up or I'll just order a new one and then put this on my desk as a cool memento. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is quickly hit the whole bumper of the emblem area and then the a few little touch-up areas I just touched up, because now that that epoxy is cured, I'm going to hit that with 220, and then I'm going to hit the whole bumper with 400, and then I got to disassemble the headlight. Bada bing, bada boom. So I gotta figure out how I want to paint this. If I want to paint the bottom side first, not too worried about it, but I at least want to get these edges that are sometimes visible, especially if I do a certain type of headlight upgrade in the future. So yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and get this prepped, do a little 220 and then some 400, and then we're gonna get this ready with the bumper to do primer. Okay, so the bumper is all prepped with 400 grit. Looks nice and clean, nice and smooth. All the repair areas actually turned up to be really nice and smooth, no harsh transitions or anything, so I was really happy with how all this turned out. So what I'm going to be doing now is I bought a bunch of plastic drop sheets from Home Depot, and I'm going to be basically building a little paint booth in the garage here using the top of my garage door as the roof. I'll tape over or put a drop sheet above the garage, because I learned from when I painted the go-kart that even though it's above, the pigment will still rise and you'll tint your garage whatever color you're painting. So I don't want a red garage door, so I'm going to be taping over that and then taping the ground and then trying to create like a box to paint in to try and control the environment a little bit and control the overspray as well. Okay, so I got the paint booth, in quotation marks, put together, but I ran out of drop sheets. I should have bought at least one more 3-pack, because I have all the walls and the ceiling, but I didn't have one for the floor, which is one of the most important parts. So I'm waiting on a family member to come by and kind of chill out here at the house, since I'm here by myself and I can't shut the garage right now, and I can run to Home Depot and get some more. So this took a little bit longer to put up than I expected, so we'll be getting to painting soon. Alright, got more drop sheets. Paint booth is pretty much ready. Paint booth in quotation marks. So we got the floor, got the ceiling, pretty much ready to go. So now I just gotta bring the bumper in here with the sawhorses and the headlight lid and clean them up and get them ready for some primer, paint, clear coat. Alright everyone, welcome inside the paint booth here as I try and gracefully step in. So got the bumper set up on the 2 sawhorses, got the sawhorses positioned so it's not going to contact any areas on the bumper where there might be any overspray or runs or anything. Then I got the little headlight lid sitting up on a little, the old blue tape roll. So I'm going to paint the bottom side first and then flip it over and paint the top side after the bottom side dries, because if there's any residual on the bottom side from doing it maybe a little too early, not too worried about it. It's obviously the top side that I want to look the best. And then I also got the bumper positioned in the middle of the booth here, because the drop sheets do tend to move with the wind a little bit. That's why I got this little thing kind of blocking it, because I don't want the drop sheet to blow in and then touch wet paint. So I'm going to go ahead and get dressed up in my little, I got a painter's smock. I got my respirator, and then we're gonna clean this with some isopropyl alcohol, tack it, and then start hitting with primer. And the other thing too is I'm gonna leave the camera on the tripod outside there. I do not want to get any overspray on my camera, so I'll just kind of probably time lapse through me painting, and then bring the camera in and update you guys as everything's going. Oh, and I also got to mask off just this bottom black piece here a little bit. I'm not going to mask off the inside of the bumper because if I get overspray on that, it's no biggie.
Let's get ready to paint. Well, I had a little bit of a wardrobe malfunction.
Christmas comes early.
I'm gonna use some blue tape.
So I've been cleaning the front bumper here, and basically my rule of thumb has been until my clean lint-free rag is no longer pulling off red pigment, which it's got a little light coat still coming off, but it's way less than what it was when I initially started, because then I know I've cleaned off the surface pretty well. So it's just a light dusting now that is coming off, so we're getting pretty close.
All right, first coat, let's go.
Alright guys, so I'm going to give you a quick peek through the hole in the paint booth here. So here is coat 1 of primer. Not bad. It's definitely, still a lot of fumes in there. It's difficult painting a whole bumper with a spray can, no doubt about it. My fingers are killing me, and that was just 1 coat of primer. So I can only imagine how I'm going to be after 2 coats of primer, 3 coats of base coat, and 3 coats of clear coat. Yeah, but it's going on good. I'm getting little dribbles out of the nozzle, so you got to have like a rag with you to keep the nozzle clean as you're spraying. And again, expectations pretty low for this. If this just looks, you know, halfway decent with, you know, red and a good clear coat, if there's some imperfections, I'm gonna still be more than thrilled because it's gonna look way better than what it was before. So I'm letting this flash off. I'm gonna hit it with a tack rag once it dries, and then I'm gonna do 2nd coat of primer, and then we'll tack rag that again and get onto base coat. Okay everybody, so I got the primer pretty much all finished up. I kind of did 2, almost 3 coats of primer because the repair area, the main repair area on the top of the bumper was still kind of showing through. So I didn't want to take a chance of that showing through the base coat also, but I'm going to be doing 3 coats of base coat, so I don't think it would. So it's drying now, but man is this a lot of work. I mean, being in this suit here is like I'm sweating. So props to you guys who do painting for a living, and I know you guys are in a paint booth setup with a lot more professional of a setup and not like a drop sheet, you know, setup in your garage here, but it's looking pretty good. I'll peek through the drop sheet, so that's looking pretty good. You know, the repair area that I did right about here, that's looking really smooth. There is a little bit of a pinhole on the side of the bumper, but you know what? I mean, this job, if I get it even 70% of a good looking coat with some imperfections and some runs even, I'm gonna be happy. So letting that dry, and then once that's fully dried, I'll do a quick tack cloth, and then we're gonna start hitting it with base coat. But I'm also using a lot more paint than I thought. That was almost 3 cans of primer, so I'm imagining it's gonna be about 3 cans of base coat. So to do the car and the hood, it's definitely, I'm gonna have to order more paint. So good thing I'm just doing this one step at a time, and I'm really trying to not rush this, because I know that's your enemy when you try and do paint and stuff like this, is rushing.
Alright, so I'm bringing you guys in the booth now because the fumes have kind of died off, but I just went over the bumper with a tack rag, and man, that is such a crucial part of it that I've never done until now. But you can totally feel with the tack rag it pulling off all the little overspray specks, and then it becomes way smoother of a surface. So I'm really excited to see how it turns out with the base coat color now that I've tack ragged it and it's just extra smooth, because you could feel it. It went from being rough to nice and smooth, and it just glides across. So now we're going to start with the base coat and go from there.
Alrighty everyone, so this is after coat number 2. Here's how we're looking. Looking nice and wet. Looking good. Having a little malfunction with some of the cans. Keep kind of spraying out from the bottom below the nozzles, so I keep getting some drips, but you know, like I said, going into this with lower expectations here, just trying to get it looking red. And that's what we're doing. So it's looking pretty good. So what I'm going to do now is wait for this to kind of cure a little bit, dry, and then I'm going to tack rag it, try and get rid of some of the overspray. We're going to do a final base coat, a 3rd coat, and then that'll dry, tack that, and then we'll do our clear coats. So this paint job is actually going really well. I haven't had any runs due to my error or any fish eyes or anything like that. The biggest problem I've been running into are the cans themselves. The paint has been coming out, like bubbling out from underneath the nozzle. So it causes paint to pool all in the lower part of the can, and then it drips. So I've gotten a few drips on the bumper when I've gone to spray kind of over the middle areas, and then when I go to shake the can, the paint flies off. I don't know if I'm painting a car or if I'm like an axe murderer here, but you know, that's really the only gripe that I've had. So I'm probably going to reach out to the company that I bought the paint from to try and you know, see what's going on and possibly get a little bit of a refund, because it's kind of a bummer to see that it keeps coming out, and the primer cans did the same thing. So if anybody knows why that happens, if it's an error on my part, please let me know.
Okay everyone, so here is the update. So we're done with the base coat, waiting for this to dry and flash off a little bit before we start hitting it with this 2-stage clear coat that I have. Turned out pretty dang good, honestly, for being a rattle can job. Honestly, a lot of the problems were related to the cans themselves. So this is what I was talking about earlier. The cans are leaking out paint from underneath the tip, and so then they would drip when I would go to do a pass over top of the panel. But you can see here, kind of seen in the light, there's a little bit of noticeability from the body work we did, but it's honestly pretty straight. For being a first-time body worker, I'll take it. So you can kind of see, it's hard to see, there's a little drip there, and another one up a little bit farther. So, but overall, we haven't had any major paint defects, no fish eyes, no runs either from heavy application. So now we're going to be waiting for the paint to dry and then for the clear coat.
Alright, so now I'm getting the 2K clear coat shaken up. So they say to shake it for 2 minutes, and then it comes with this little red plug that you put on the bottom here, and then press that, and that activates the activator, I guess, or the catalyst, and that's how you get your 2K clear coat. Then you got to shake it for another 2 minutes or so, and then you start spraying your clear. This is really supposed to give you the high quality paint finish, that deep, rich looking clear coat, the wet look versus a one-stage clear coat. Alright, so I'm going to show you guys when there's a little bit better lighting right now. I'm trying to break down the paint booth. It's all dark outside now, so trying to get this cleaned up and not get pigment everywhere. So, but yeah, I mean, it turned out really good. I went a little aggressive with the clear coat at the end, so I did get some runs, but my plan was just to cut and buff this anyways, but I think overall it turned out really nice. I'm really happy with the result, and we'll see how the color match looks, but I mean, shoot, this kind of exceeded my expectations, unless there's things up close that I didn't see. But there's little bips and blops and drops and runs and stuff, which, you know, not the end of the world. Kind of met my expectations with where we're at. So I'm going to get the booth torn down, and then when I got some better lighting, I'll show you guys up close the result. Alright, paint booth is all torn down, cleaning up. But just want to end off the video with you guys to show you the final result here, and I'll show it out in the sunlight too, but I am stoked at the results of this, and a lot of that has to do with, one, the color match looks pretty good so far, that's why I've got this little guy here, and two, that two-stage clear coat makes all the difference. So first of all, it's not perfect by any means. There are definitely a lot of little pits and little bubbles throughout the clear coat. That might have been because I was throwing the clear coat on a little bit too heavy. Maybe I wasn't letting it dry enough in between coats. I'm not entirely sure, but I was planning on cutting and buffing this anyways. But overall, I mean, just the shine and everything looks really well, and actually the clear coat hid a lot of those paint drips when I was doing the base coat, so I was really happy to see that, and it came out, it exceeded my expectations here for a rattle can paint job in my garage with a mock-up spray booth. So I mean, you can kind of just tell. So this is from a different car. This is not from my car. This is from a parts car that I got this off of eBay from. But just comparison side by side, the color matching of the torch red looks pretty dang good. I mean, well, it'll tell when it's all back on the car and everything, but man, I'm pretty stoked with that. So overall, the ERA paints, like, I was really happy with how the paints, you know, went on. Well, I was happy with how they applied, and the color matching of the base coat, and that two-stage clear coat is awesome. The one thing I was not happy with was that a lot of the base coat cans kept leaking out from underneath the cap, and then they would spill over, and that's where I was getting all my paint drips from. So I'm not sure if these were defective cans. 3 of the 4 did them, or did that, or sorry, 4 of the 5 did that. So the last one did not do that. So I did go through 5 coats of base coat, but I wanted this to be nice and thick, and you know, it was because these were leaking, I wasn't getting as much mileage out of these cans, and that's why I think I had to use more cans to coat the bumper. But overall, guys, I'm super stoked at how this paint job turned out. I'm really excited to put this back on the car, cut and buff it, and also now I got to do the hood, and I got to color match all the other pieces on the car, or blend those repair spots that you saw in the previous video on the car as well. So I got to order more paint. Unfortunately, it is not necessarily cheap, but it's cheaper than investing in a whole air gun compressor setup and stuff like that anyway. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. I have no idea how long it is at this point, but I just put it into one video, and hope you guys learned something. If you have any questions about this experience, I did do a lot of research, and again, I'm not an expert. Did a lot of research leading up to this. It's not perfect. There's things I could have done better, but for my first time, I'm pretty impressed. So happy to share anything if you guys have any questions. So if you haven't already, definitely subscribe for more content to come on the channel, and thank you all so much for watching again, and other than that, I will see you guys in the next one.